welcome to our Let's Talk series featuring the Bill of Rights.
We have a lot to talk about today, and the topic of our video is one that's been pretty hotly debated over the last few years, the Second Amendment. We're also going to take a brief look at the Third Amendment, which, did you know, is the least litigated of all the amendments in the Bill of Rights.
Now keep in mind, we are not here to say whether or not the Second Amendment is right or wrong. We just want to take a look at some discussions surrounding the Second Amendment and what it means to you right now and in your future.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's see what these amendments say. The Second Amendment reads, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." And the Third Amendment, "No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house, without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law." The Third Amendment was intended to prevent citizens from being required to house or quarter soldiers without the express permission of the homeowner. This is a response to the Quartering Act, which was passed by the British Parliament in the time leading up to the Revolutionary War. And the Quartering Act required colonists to house the British soldiers in their homes. As I mentioned before, this is the least litigated of all the amendments in the Bill of Rights because thankfully, this has not been an issue for us in the US in quite a while.
Right, and now it's time for the big discussion, the Second Amendment. As you can see, a good bit of the controversy surrounding the Second Amendment comes from the fact that the wording of it is pretty vague. This was most likely intentional since the Founding Fathers had just come through the Revolutionary War, which was largely fought on the colonist side by members of the local militia, who were anxious to do anything possible to prevent more government overreach.
As it stands now, the Second Amendment grants individual citizens the right to bear arms. Put more plainly, it means that individual citizens can own a firearm if they so choose. However, there are lots of responsibilities and several restrictions that come with exercising this right. The Gun Control Act of 1968, with its 1993 amendment called the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, sets rules and standards for gun ownership. For example, according to this act, people who are dishonorably discharged from the military, people under a restraining order, or people who are convicted felons are all forbidden from owning firearms.
In addition, firearm owners have the added responsibility of making sure that they follow all laws regarding firearms in their home state. For example, even in states with open carry laws, schools are generally places where carrying a firearm is forbidden. So firearm owners have to be aware and abide by all of these regulations.
As we've mentioned, gun laws in the United States are subject to a wide variety of opinions and of controversy, especially recently, as the United States has seen a rise in gun-related acts of violence. For example, should there be limits to what type of firearm someone can own under the Second Amendment? Would those limits be constitutional? What about requiring federal background checks for people to own a firearm? Does this amendment even protect the rights of individuals to own firearms at all, or should that solely be the responsibility of the military?
These questions and more might be part of your discussion in your classroom about the Second Amendment. As you talk and as you learn, always be civil and respectful. And remember that the goal of this program is to prepare you to act as a good and responsible citizen, no matter your personal stance on these issues.
Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.